Today we're going to talk about NetSuite's professional services automation functionality. NetSuite continues to release robust functionality for professional services organizations. In this short video, we will explore some of the advancements that make running these organizations more efficient and results-driven with a far higher degree of visibility. What you're seeing in front of you is NetSuite's resource allocation grid or chart. And what it is a graphical interface for creating and managing resource allocations. The first thing we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and create a new resource allocation. NetSuite is presenting us with a resource allocation record that gives us a number of options. First, if we don't know the resource that we're going to go ahead and allocate to a particular project, we can use the search function. The search function gives us a number of filters that we can use in order to pick a resource best suited to execute this particular project. We can choose things like availability, what percent available. We can choose billing classes for certain levels of consultants or resources. We can put in some max labor costs, minimum years of experience. We can also start to choose some available skills that we set up against an employee record. Once we've made our selections, we can go ahead and submit, and NetSuite will begin to return us scoring for resources available on these projects. You can see it's giving us the name of the resource, their labor costs, how the system is scoring their skill set based on the options that we selected, how available they are, what type of resource they are, what level of the resource, how many years experience, things like resumes. We can go ahead and view a resource's resume with the click of a button, and then also the scoring based on certain skill sets that we're looking for against the project. Once we go ahead and select a resource, we can then assign a resource to a particular project. A resource can be assigned to either a project or right down to the project task level. We can put in the start date and the end date, and then we can allocate based on percentages or hours. Here I'll allocate 100%. We can identify the allocation type as either hard or soft. That gives us reporting on where we're able to either reallocate or where we really should keep a resource designated to a particular project. We can also designate if this is a recurring resource allocation, whether it's recurring daily, weekly, monthly. And here I'll go ahead and save my allocation. I'll hit save to commit that to the particular project. Now, in terms of managing our particular allocations, you can see right now we are viewing the resource grid or chart based on the resources. I can go ahead and look at a particular resource and what projects they're assigned to. Here I can see that Andrew West has a bit of availability between these 2 weeks, but again is also overutilized in a certain period. I can then start to adjust my resource allocations to better align with both their skill sets and the work that's necessary to be completed. I can double click and get right into the resource allocation and make any updates as well, or go ahead and accept my options and save that allocation. Now that we've taken a look at how we go ahead and manage the allocations, let's look at a number of different options we have within the resource allocation grid. We can do some advanced filtering. We can say, I want to see only a particular resource. I want to say resources that are employees, vendors, or generic resources. I want to filter based on whether it's a hard or soft allocation. I want to filter based on how percent over or underutilized a particular resource is. Additionally, I can pick what department I'm looking for, if it's a certain engineering group or a certain professional services group, and then again, based on what level of consultant or resource am I looking for. In the latest release, NetSuite's also given us the ability to not only look at this view by resource, but also to be able to flip that to see a project view. We go ahead and we update our settings. And now down the left, instead of seeing just our resources and what projects they assign to, we see the projects and what resources were assigned, and we have the same functionality that we looked at earlier. We have the same filter functionality, and we can manage the projects in exactly the same way as we did in the other view. Ultimately, what we're going to get out of this is some advanced reporting, things like allocated utilization by resource, where we can see in a particular month, year, quarter, how over or underutilized our particular resources are. Thank you for viewing today, and this was a short demonstration of NetSuite's professional services automation.